Could we all please rise for the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor of Perth, Mr Basil Zemplis. Oh, no.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the City of Perth July 2023 Ordinary Council meeting. I'll formally declare the meeting open at 5:05. I respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet, the Whadjuk Noongar people of Western Australia. We pay tribute to their elders past and present, and it is indeed a privilege to be standing on Whadjuk Noongar land. CEO, can I ask you please to recite the prayer?
Almighty God, under whose providence we hold responsibility for this city, grant us wisdom to understand its present needs, foresight to anticipate its future growth, and grace to serve our fellow citizens with integrity and selfless devotion. And to thee be all blessing and glory forever. Amen.
Thank you very much, everybody. Please be seated. So first, everyone, again, repeating my welcome. It's important that I tell everybody that in accordance with Council Policy 1.4, this meeting is being live streamed and the recording will be made available on the City's website following the meeting. We get to attendance and I look forlornly across at Councillor Bevan, just sitting there on his own. I'm confident that reinforcements may well arrive, Councillor Bevan. So, in attendance tonight, we have Councillor Sandy Angie. Good evening. Councillor Dybane, we are expecting. Councillor Clyde Bevan is here. Councillor Rebecca Gordon has advised just a minute or so late. Councillor Victor Coe, good evening. And Councillor Catherine Leeser, good evening. In addition, I welcome officers, members of the public, any media in attendance, or indeed anybody, media or otherwise, watching on the live stream. Now, item 3.1 tonight is apologies, and 3.2, leave of absence. Deputy Lord Mayor Liam Gobbett and Councillor Brent Fleeton are apologies for this evening, and there are no elected members currently on an approved leave of absence, which takes me to 3.3, and that is applications for a leave of absence. Now, a leave of absence application has been received from the Deputy Lord Mayor Liam Gobbett for the period July 26, 2023 to 6 September 2023, and Councillor Brent Fleeton for the period 26 July 2023 to 31 August 2023. Do any other elected members have an application for a leave of absence? No? Is your chair a bit lower too, Councillor Bevan, as if to exacerbate the forlorn nature of what I see to my right? On your own and sitting low in the chair, you can get unlucky sometime. So no applications? No, thank you. All right then. We'll go to the Lord Mayor's announcements. Good to see so many members of our community in the chamber again tonight. Last Monday, so just over a week ago, at a special council meeting, our budget for 2023-2024 was passed unanimously. I'm really delighted to say that the budget has been very well received by our ratepayers. It's received very favourable attention and coverage in local and social and other media, which is very encouraging for the city. For those perhaps not across it, the highlights of our budget included the lowest rate rise of all major Perth metropolitan councils for a second consecutive year. $6.7 million towards free parking initiatives continuing in our city. $3 million allocated to market our city, to sell Perth as a destination, and $17 million for safer streets and community services. Great progress has been made in this area. Greater progress still can be made. and we're investing in it, $17 million for safer streets and community services. And in addition, over $16 million for street upgrades and lighting and capital works, building roads and bus stops and bike paths, committing over $30 million to preserving our tree canopy and our parks and improving the way we manage energy, waste and water, and investing over $23 million in our community services and infrastructure, and a further $20 million to activate our neighbourhoods and support and sponsor our businesses. So it is a budget which delivers for today, invests in tomorrow, and I'm very pleased that it has been so well received from our ratepayers and from our community. Also, keen to mention that Lightscape, which the City of Perth has proudly supported during the activation, its 6-week run through the City of Perth area, but obviously in Kings Park. It comes to an end this Sunday. And I'm delighted to be able to report, having spoken to organisers today, that they have officially classed it as a sellout. That is, all tickets that they were making available to the general public of Perth and Western Australia have now been sold. That is a number that I read as follows. 182,218 people will have gone through the gates at Kings Park to see Lightscape at the close of business and the run of the event on Sunday. 182,000 people through Kings Park in winter at night. Absolutely outstanding. And I thank my fellow councillors for supporting the city's activation and support of Lightscape. Together with Kings Park and Sony, we have delivered a world-class event to our community that we should be very proud of. Thank you, everybody. That's for the leave of absences. Okay, so I'm going to return to the leave of absences 3.3, and it's incumbent upon me to move the motion to approve the leave of absence applications. Councillor Bain and Councillor Gordon have now joined us, so let the record show that. Thank you, record. And I'll just repeat that a leave of absence application has been received from Deputy Lord Mayor Liam Gobbett for the period 26 July 2023 to 6 September 2023, and Councillor Brent Fleeton for the period 26 July 2023 to 31 August 2023. And given Councillor Gordon and Councillor Bain, any other elected members have an application for leave of absence? No. So will somebody please move the motion to approve those leave of absences? Thank you, Councillor Coe. And a seconder, thank you, Councillor Gordon. Anybody opposed? So that is carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody. We move now to item 5, disclosures of interest. CEO, could you please detail the interests which have been disclosed?
Thank you, Lord Mayor. The following interests have been disclosed. Councillor Di Bain disclosed an impartiality interest in item 15.2, as these are fees invoiced by the city's acting legal counsel, who is the cousin of Councillor Bain's husband's son-in-law. The city has advised her to disclose this as an impartiality interest. Councillor Di Bain disclosed an indirect financial interest in item 12.1, as Mr Frank Agnello wants to use Mr Jeff Leach's laneway. Mr Leach donated to Councillor Bain's election campaign, and Councillor Clyde Bevan disclosed a proximity interest in relation to item 12.1, as he, along with his wife, owns an apartment at 360 brackets 2616 close brackets Murray Street, Perth.
Thank you, CEO. Do any elected members have any disclosures of interest from the floor, please? No? Okay, thank you. Let's move along then to item 6 on our agenda tonight. Public participation. And 6.1 is public question time. CEO, have any public questions been received?
Yes, Lord Mayor. 8 questions have been received from Daniel Godoy in relation to matters not on the agenda.
Okay, so Daniel is with us tonight. Daniel, hello. Would you like to come forward and read those questions? If you wish. Otherwise, we do have a record of them here. Have you got them there? Come forward and read them.
Okay, I've got quite a bit of them.
Well, there's 8 questions we've received, correct? Yeah?
The first one, I'll try and make it.
Just turn the microphone on, mate, if you could. Just name and address.
Okay. My name's Daniel Godoy. I'm a ratepayer and a resident of Northbridge. I'm speaking on behalf of 228 James Street in Northbridge.
Thank you, mate. So we have the questions here. We've also got some answers for you. What we'd like you to do is to read the question one, get an answer, and we'll repeat the process.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lord Mayor.
If you would like a copy, these have been questions submitted by you. We've got them in a typed up form. If it's easier for me to give this to you, would that be easier? Or
Look, that's fine. I'll ask him now because I do want to get the council to engage in this if possible at all.
Good, Daniel. Good. That's what we're here for. Yes.
Okay.
So, question one.
Sure. I've got, in accordance with the Rural Management Plan, and I want to highlight that they were able to open based on this management plan being in place and them strictly adhering to it. Rural is supposed to have a security guard at the front of the premises during the hours of operation. Most of the time, the security guards are inside while their clients are loitering outside. The question in this is, how is Rural going to be compelled to strictly to adhere to their tailored management plan?
Daniel, thank you. CEO, through you, I believe we're directing these questions across to Dale Page, the General Manager of Planning and Economic Development. Good evening, Dale. If you'd like to respond, please.
Evening, Lord Mayor, and through you, Lord Mayor, to Daniel. The city has been engaging quite a bit with RUA when complaints have been raised about their operations to try and ensure that they meet the requirements and their obligations under their management plan. It is a bit difficult for us, though, because it's the minister. We don't have a compliance function in relation to this particular property. That was removed from us when the state government issued the approval. So it is essentially the Minister for Planning who is responsible for ongoing compliance with the planning approval in this instance. So we have written to the Minister for Planning to ask for assistance from him and his office to ensure that RUA effectively implements the approved business management plan.
Thank you.
Can I just, have we heard back?
Not yet, Lord Mayor.
And how long ago did we write, please, General Manager?
Last week.
Okay, thank you. Daniel, question two.
Sure. They're kind of related. So we've got, whilst we have made the assumption that the RUA management plan is understood by RUA staff, there seems to be a disconnect between RUA and the City of Perth Rangers and law enforcement officers. When speaking to the City of Perth Rangers, and we do that quite a bit, they knew very little of this plan, if at all, and even less if they were the ones that had to enforce it. Is it the Rangers or is it the police? I see daily breaches of the RUA management plan. Who at the City of Perth? So I see that daily. So who at the City of Perth is responsible for it? Same sort of question. RUA adheres and complies to the management plan. Did the planning minister at the time, who was Rita Safiotti, give any department within the City of Perth or the police the specific job to ensure that RUA was held to account and complied or adhered to their management plan? Does the City of Perth have a specific process to handle RUA's compliance or lack of their management plan? As the former planning minister allowed RUA to operate subject to compliance of their management plan, what process was set up to ensure that the information about this management plan was well understood by local police and City of Perth Rangers? What was the process that was set up to relay the compliance information or otherwise from the City of Perth or police to the planning minister? So I'm asking, what was the process set up for the information to go down and go up?
Thanks, Daniel. To the General Manager.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. So again, as I mentioned before, the responsibility for compliance with the management plan rests with, and the planning approval, the rest of the conditions rests with the Minister for Planning. No responsibility has been delegated through that approval down to the city. So the police have jurisdiction over some issues that are more general and they respond to those as they see fit. But as far as our rangers are concerned, they regularly engage with RUA, as they do with any other business owner in the city, on matters that we have jurisdiction or responsibility for. But they're not able to go in and enforce mechanisms in that management plan that are the responsibility for the Minister for Planning.
Can I make a comment in relation to the answer? Or not?
Questions really, but go on, make a comment. Just brief, please, Daniel.
What I would say is that it actually highlights the disconnect. It just doesn't seem to be any sort of anything that ties them up to.
Well, I'll tell you what it highlights, Daniel. It's a point I was going to make at the end. I'm happy to make it now. This chamber, 3 elected members called this matter in because they did not support the relocation of Rua to James Street because of the very compelling arguments that community, of which you are a part, put forward. And this chamber, when considering that matter, decided that they did not believe, we did not believe, that that was the right place for that rural facility. We were then overruled by the state government. The planning minister went over our heads. It's why you're here asking these questions, and we're giving you answers which you're not particularly satisfied with, and for what it's worth, we're not particularly satisfied that they're the answers that we have to give. But as you can hear, we find ourselves in this situation because of matters that we were not in command of. It was taken out of our hands. This chamber listened to its community and made a decision, and here we are. This is what happens when we are overruled by a higher body.
For what it's worth, Lord Mayor, I tell that to everyone that will listen about the decision. So
Carry on, Daniel.
now, the other bit of the question. Okay, Rua suggests that on conversations with Rua, they do suggest that they are 100% compliant in their management plan. I just want to know if there is no connection to law enforcement or rangers. How can they come to me and say that they're 100% compliant with their management plan?
It's me ringing the bell. I don't often do that. Sound like a call bell on the fly. General Manager?
Thank you. Through you, Lord Mayor. So we're not able to offer up evidence of compliance with their management plan either. And again, for the same reason, because we don't have that function of compliance with the planning approval. That kind of question can be directed directly to the Minister's office if you wanted to request to see whether or not they have got a log of compliance issues.
Okay. I'll summarise the other questions. I know I'm conscious of the time. The other one relates specifically, we're talking about the Minister. Now, the next question was going to ask in relation to a possible conflict of interest. Now, we all know that the Planning Minister at the time called in the decision and overruled the City of Perth. Now, we all know that it was the member for Perth's project that he was the biggest advocate for 247 James Street Rural Centre. Now, if it was the homeless ministers at the time's pet project, how can he now be the planning minister taken over from Arita Safiote, and how could he be the one to say to Rua that they're not being compliant, and as such, as a last resort, close them down if he is the one that actually instigated all of this?
These are good questions, Daniel, which you will understand we're not in a position to be able to answer. But is there anything, General Manager, that you might like to add?
No, through you, Lord Mayor, that's not a question we can answer, but it's a good one to pose to the Office of the Minister for Planning.
Okay, well, you can see that there's a lot of gaps in this whole process. The other one I was going to say is the other one was, I'll read the other one. When Rua commenced operations, they were all about community engagement. New kids on the block as people do that. Now, myself and others have been banned from entering Rua's site. When questioned, their answer was for this decision was due to them having violence threatened or instigated against their own staff. Can Rua provide a list of those local owners who are banned and for how long? If Rua has banned local business owners and residents from entering, how are locals supposed to engage with Rua?
Good one. General Manager?
Through you, Lord Mayor, not an answer that we could or would respond to, but we'll certainly pass this particular question along to Rua for their information and response.
Sure. Okay, as Rua's new location is known more and more by their clients, I personally witness more and more antisocial behaviour in my area of James Street, or in where I do business and where I live. Now, given this problem, does the City of Perth plan to increase the frequency of ranger patrols during Rua's operating hours?
General Manager.
Through you, Lord Mayor, the city has already increased ranger patrols in the area. I believe the rangers have also been engaging with Rua Security, and we've taken action on the things that we can. So where there have been breaches of local laws, that's within our jurisdiction, we have taken action in those cases. In the case of antisocial behaviour or criminal behaviour, that's really something that needs to be reported to the police on 131444.
Okay. That's once again the disconnect that I say. In initial discussions with Royal, we raised a possible solution. To the loitering at the front of 247 James Street. One of the solutions was to have a segregated waiting and smoking area contained within their premises, to which Royal was very appreciative of the suggestion and engagement. They enthusiastically embarked, so we thought, on making this suggestion a reality. We have since been informed by Rua that due to the number of constraints, primarily of a statutory nature, this is not possible. Can the City of Perth confirm that an approach was made by Rua in this regard? If so, did the Council object to this approach, and why?
Daniel, thank you. GM.
Through you, Lord Mayor, Rua may well have approached the landlord to discuss a smoking area being contained in the premises, but it's not an issue, I believe, that we've been formally approached about.
Is it possible to actually get the answer? Because we've been advised by Rua that the council knocked back their application to have a little waiting room at the back.
Through you, Lord Mayor, we can follow up on that. I do know that there are some issues that we have under public health regs about smoking inside buildings or too close to building entrances. So we can follow that up, but I'm not sure that we've been approached.
Daniel, we recently, the CEO and I recently toured the facility and then toured your facility straight after, as you know. And the explanation to that, without this being the formal explanation that you're seeking, but the explanation we were given because we raised it, actually. We said, well, wouldn't it be terrific if people that wanted to smoke could come out the back, and that might help alleviate some of the issues. And the reasons we were given were that the rules that are in place around being able to smoke near ventilation, air conditioning ducts, air conditioning machines, etc., precluded that being a smoking area. And we did have a look at it, and, you know, to be fair, it was a small area, and yes, there were all of those bits and pieces on the outside of the building. So that's not the formal answer, but that is what we were told, and is also what we saw with our eyes. Because I think even Rua agreed that it would be preferential if people who were smoking would smoke out the back of the premises rather than come out to the front. But because of those reasons and the rules that govern, CEO, anything you want to add to that?
As I recall, Lord Mayor, there was reference to a certain distance from air conditioning units, which needed to be achieved. It's quite a small space, so that couldn't be satisfied. And additionally, I think there were some other issues with safety, being at certain distances from bins and gates and the like. So it's actually quite a small space.
Yeah. But we can seek further clarification on a formal answer.
That'd be great. I want to know whether they've made the application or if they've just made those assumptions. And the last
There's one more there, I think, mate.
Yeah. Sorry, say again, Lord Mayor?
There was one more there, I think.
Yeah, just a little one. Finally, can the City of Perth please advise if the shop front signage, which is covering most of the glazing, is compliant with the council building and planning regulations, given the number of small businesses in the area have been recently instructed to remove excess signage, signage of 60%?
General Manager.
Through you, Lord Mayor, we are aware of the signage issue. It's one of the things that wasn't captured in the planning application, so we are able to act on that bit, and we're currently engaged with RUA to get them to sort
Sure.
that out.
I would assume that would be just like any other shop front there.
Correct.
Okay. That's all. Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. Thank you very much, Council and workers. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Franco, I notice in the audience as well, and we appreciate the correspondence and we appreciate you staying engaged with us, and we will endeavour to get some further responses and we will stay on it as our commitment, as we maintain our commitment to you. We're going to move now to item 7, confirmation of minutes. So, will somebody please move the following motion? 1, to confirm the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held 27 June 2023 as a true and correct record.
I've got a question. Which minutes are we actually confirming?
So there's 2 here. So this is the ordinary council meeting.
So what I mean is because there's a different copy online to the amended minutes. So when I looked this afternoon, it wasn't, the online version hadn't been updated. So I think we just need to be clear about what version we're actually accepting tonight.
Okay, I would think it'd be the updated one, would it, Governors?
Through the chair, the ones online are the unconfirmed ones. So once confirmed, it will be the amended version that's been distributed to you.
Yeah, I guess so. Typically, the ones that we confirm in the meeting match the ones online. So I just think it should be noted that there is just note the agenda item where there's a difference to, how we have the table of changes. Yep.
Noted.
Okay, so do you now have the clarity that you are seeking?
Yeah, I just think the record should be clear because typically what we're approving is what's available online, and in this instance, what we're approving is not available online. So I think all councillors need to be clear what we're actually approving.
Thanks, Councillor Angie. So could somebody please...
Should the recommendation therefore be amended to say updated minutes?
So...
for the 27th of June.
So updated minutes as circulated to the councillors on X date via email.
Just put it in. So it says, confirm the updated minutes of the ordinary council meeting held 27 June 2023 as a true and correct record. Mover? Thanks, Councillor Bevan. Seconder? Councillor Coe? Yes, Councillor Angie?
I just had another question. It's just there was a small omission, but just let me know at what point to raise that.
Okay, we'll say it now if you like.
Oh, I guess you didn't, it wasn't noted that Councillor Bain entered back into the room because Councillor Bain was absent until after the motion to defer, and then Councillor Bain arrived, but that wasn't noted in the minutes. Typically, if someone's moving in and out of a meeting, we note that.
Okay.
Through the chair, was that not noted in the confidential minutes of the meeting?
Yeah, I also asked the question during the week, and I was told it's at the very top of the agenda next to attendees. It says the time that I arrived.
Okay. So we have a mover and we have a seconder. Does anybody oppose this motion? No? Okay, I'll now declare that carried unanimously. And could somebody please move the following motion to confirm the minutes of the special council meeting held on the 17th of July 2023 as a true and correct record. Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Second appears to be Councillor Leeser. Do any members oppose this motion? No. This motion being unopposed, I'll now declare it carried unanimously. Item 8, questions by members, which due notice has been given, and 5 questions have been received by Councillor Fleeton as published in the agenda for this meeting in accordance with clause 4.72 of the City of Perth Standing Orders Local Law 2009. The responses to these questions have been provided to elected members in writing and will be published in the minutes of this meeting. Please note that in accordance with clause 4.75 of the City of Perth's Standing Orders Local Law 2009, no discussion in relation to the questions and answers occurs. Item 9, correspondence. No correspondence has been received. Item 10, petitions. None of those. Before we move on to reports, the following items have been identified to be moved en bloc, and they are 15.1 monthly financial statements, May 2023, and 16.1 City of Perth inquiry recommendations, quarterly progress update, Q4, that is the period 1 April to 30 June 2023. Do any elected members wish to extract any of the items I've just listed from the en bloc motion? So I'll now move a motion that these items be dealt with en bloc. Can I get a seconder for this motion? Thank you, Councillor Leeser. Do any members oppose this motion? Nope. The motion being unopposed, I'll declare it carried unanimously, and the recommendations of those items have now been passed en bloc in accordance with clause 9.2 of the City of Perth's Standing Orders Local Law 2009, and the officer and/or committee recommendations have been adopted by Council. So we'll now be moving on to the reports that have been extracted for debate. None under Planning and Economic Development Alliance reports tonight. We go to 12. That's the Community Development Alliance reports, and 12.1 is the Business Improvement Grant Program 2023-2024. Now, I have proposed, before I say that, Councillor Bain has an indirect financial declaration, and Councillor Clyde Bevan has declared a proximity interest, and both will now leave the room. Thank you. I have proposed. Yes, Councillor Angie.
I was just going to ask, can we split the matters out so that the councillors are able to be present for the rest of the debate? Because that's typically the last 3 years, the way we've done it, is split it out so that councillors have the opportunity to advocate for, other ratepayers where they're not conflicted.
No, I'm comfortable with it being done this way. I think we've done it. I think I've done it both ways, and I think in this instance it's easiest and cleanest if Councillor Bain and Councillor Bevan leave the room. That's my decision. Thank you. So I've proposed an alternate recommendation for this item as published in the agenda for this meeting, and I move the alternate first, noting that we will revert to the officer's recommendation in the event the alternate is lost. So I am moving it. A seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Leeser. So the reason for my alternate, as acknowledged in the report from the administration, there are applications which had strong merit that were declined due to the budget constraint of this grant program, $150,000. And we heard that feedback pretty strongly last week. Last year, the administration recommended applications with a minimum score of 70% would be appropriate to demonstrate good alignment with the objectives of the program. So I would therefore propose to apply the same consideration of 70% to support projects in this year's program, as I believe there's the opportunity to realign budgets from some proposed grant programs. Benchmarking applications at 70% provides a clear cut-off for requests, with the next application scoring 66.7. So the 5 additional projects achieve outcomes aligned with the proposed strategic city enhancement, lighting and small business grants programs or grant programs. They will contribute to an active, vibrant, safe city that is thriving and open for business as our stated aims and ambitions. And 2 of these additional projects include lighting elements. So reallocating funding from the strategic city enhancement grants and small business grants will reduce administration and enable the funds to be directed to positive outcomes in a more timely manner. The implication will be that the 2 programs will not proceed, as their budget will be used for expanding the number of approvals within the Business Improvement Grant Program. I think that's self-explanatory. Reconsideration of our grant program priorities will also be considered, as acknowledged by the CEO at the agenda briefing session held last week. The seconder was Councillor Leeser. Councillor Leeser?
Thanks, Lord Mayor. I think it's a wise move to. I think we would have probably approved these other applicants later in the year. So I think this is a clever move of allocating funds. So I'm totally supportive of it. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Leeser. Is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against? Councillor Angie.
I'll speak for. With retail vacancies across the city at 25% and around 35% in the Hay Street Mall, we need to support business. So if we compare Melbourne, where while office vacancy is higher than in Perth, retail vacancy is significantly lower at 9%, with that city reinventing itself as an entertainment destination. I thought it was great to hear Christopher Patton's deputation last week representing Alibi and Butterfly 73, where he summed it up well, saying, let the shopping centres compete against themselves. Collectively, let's create an entertainment precinct that's world class. And, talking to people over recent months and years, times are hard in many sections of the city. And as we all know, bricks and mortar businesses are the heart and soul. So let's support them.
Well said. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak for or against? Councillor Gordon.
I will speak for. I am somewhat conflicted. We did just set the budget last week and we're now seeking to reallocate the funds. So I appreciate that we're going to investigate ensuring alignment going forward. And I also think that the Strategic City Enhancement Lighting Grant program was something I was looking forward to, because we've seen the expense that we go to and the use of resources to get consent of landowners to put exciting lighting enhancements into privately owned laneways. So, I mean, our CFO is here. He works magic. Hopefully down the track there's an opportunity to find money elsewhere, because I think that program is actually very exciting and very beneficial for the city. And hopefully money can be found to ensure that that does go ahead. And we do see lots of excellent applicants. I know Le Vietnam is a huge contributor to the city. They've been involved in some of our marketing. They just bring a huge clientele to the city and they do incredible things. So it's glad to see that they're finally getting something back from us, and exciting to see that they will be activating the Bon Marche Arcade and bringing a bit more activation to the area. So, many great recipients, but very excited to see them on there.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak for or against? Well, I will summarise, councillors, by saying that if this is supported by an absolute majority, so that is the 5 of us here tonight, the following businesses will be receiving the following amounts of money to help them help us bring more life and activation to our city. The Spaniard Alfresco Dining, $25,000. Alibi Cocktail Lounge Facade, $25,000. The Arrival Hall Courtyard Redevelopment, $25,000. Fat Brew Coffee Club, $25,000. The Standard Outdoor Dining Area will be enhanced with $25,000. Vietnam and activation of Bon Marche Arcade, as just pointed out by Councillor Gordon, $25,000. Fellow new venue fit out for Happy Times Priority Limited, just threw that one in, $25,000. The colour kinetics and lighting of Murray Street Forest Place, the prime private project which we heard about, $25,000 for greater lighting of that area. The Lion Walk fixed umbrellas and lighting enhancement that we heard about near Aberdeen Street, $25,000. Ezra Pound, the revitalisation plan, $20,000. And the outdoor dining laneway alfresco area at Espresso and Prosecco, $25,000. All very worthy of our support, and if supported by my fellow councillors tonight, that is the level of support those businesses will be receiving from our City of Perth. Can we put that to the vote, please? All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. And could we invite Councillor Bain and... Oh, thank you. Yes. Councillor Bain and Councillor Bevan to come back in. So, we move then to item 13, Infrastructure and Operation Alliance reports, none tonight. 14 is Commercial Services Alliance reports, none tonight. 15 is the Corporate Services Alliance reports. 15.1, monthly financial statements, May 2023. This is on block. 15.2, schedule of accounts paid, May 2023. Councillor Bain has declared an impartiality interest. This has been extracted for debate. Would anyone like to move the officer's recommendation here? Thank you to our guests who are leaving us. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. You can catch the rest of the show online. So would anybody like to move the... Yes, Councillor Leeser, thank you. And a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Councillor Leeser? Oh, Councillor Gordon, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak for or against? Let's put it to the vote then, shall we? All those in favour? That's been carried unanimously, thank you. Item 15.3 is the Corporate Business Plan Quarterly Progress Report 4, extracted for debate. No declarations here. Would anybody like to move the officer's recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Leeser. And a seconder, please. I'll second it. Councillor Leeser.
Not that much to say, Lord Mayor, just that it's fantastic to see the progress onwards and upwards for the city all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Leeser. I'll reserve my right. Does anyone else who wishes to speak for or against? Councillor Gordon.
Thank you. Yes, I did want to speak against this item. I voted against the update last quarter on the basis that the report represents elected members have received a report that we have not been provided. Subsequent to that meeting, we have requested that report again. It has still not been forthcoming. Further, this recommendation also seeks to amend the corporate business plan for last financial year. That period has now ended, and I just don't think it's good governance to retrospectively and retroactively seek to amend something that should have already occurred. So I will not be supporting the update.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Anyone else who wishes to speak for or against? Councillor Leeser? We'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Leeser, Councillor Coe, the Lord Mayor and Councillor Bevan. Those against? Councillor Angie, Councillor Bain, Councillor Gordon, and that is passed 4-3. We move then to item 16, the Chief Executive Officer reports. 16.1 is the City of Perth Inquiry Recommendations Quarterly Progress Update Q4. That's the period 1 April to June 30, 2023, and this is on block. 17 is committee reports. We don't have any of those. 18 is motions of which notice has been given. None of those received. 19 matters for which the meeting may be closed. There aren't any. And urgent business, no items have been consented to being raised in accordance with clause 414 of the City of Perth Standing Order Local Laws. So with that, I'm going to thank everybody for their attendance and their attention. And with no further business, I will now declare the ordinary council meeting closed at 5:44 p.m. and thank everyone for their attendance tonight.
Could you all please rise for the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor of Perth, Mr Basil Zempilas.
Thank you, everyone.